we've ever talked about this word before. Everybody's got their own emotional four-letter words, right? Well, here's one that you'll remember. You first heard when you were a child, and it's not one that we have emotionally a strong magnetism towards. However, it is one that as we mature, we really, really need to fall in love with and embrace and chase with everything in us and get over our initial childhood revulsion to this word. All right, you ready for the word? Responsibility. Responsibility. Now, how many times when you were a kid did you hear, well, you gotta start being responsible. You're so irresponsible, or you got some responsibilities you got to do around here, or if you don't start thinking about your responsibilities, blah blah blah. You heard that from somebody probably, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you were hyper responsible and you heard it being said to your sister or your brother or the kid in the desk next to you at school. And you might not have heard this at home. You heard it maybe from teachers. But we we don't really show up on the planet, going wah, wah, wah. You know, well, we do show up like that, but we're showing up like that for comfort, right? The infant comes in. How many of you mamas had babies and they popped out and turned and looked at you and said, "Oh, mom, I'm sorry. Was that hard on you? Anything I can do to help? Do you want me to clean up around here?" That's not what the delivery room looked like, or was it at all? In that first year or so, it was like this. Are they begging for a job to do? Are they begging for you to give them a list of chores? Give me my chores. You're not giving me my chores. Are you kidding me? No, they're not begging for that. You know what they're begging for? Comfort, relief, relief from pain. I'm hungry. I'm wet. I'm lonesome. Mama, pick me up. Help me out of this misery. I want comfort. And that's a good thing. Good thing. Good thing. Good thing. Take care of those babies. That first year of life, don't frustrate them. That's not good for anything in the system. Don't do that. Gratify them. Gratify them because they're going to get weaned from that. But you know what? One of my favorite verses in the Bible, it says, this is such good neuroscience. It talks about, I think it was David, he says, like a weaned child. A weaned child. And we think of being weaned as something problematic, right? Oh no, I'm losing the good stuff. No, the Hebrew word, in my understanding, that's used in the Bible for weaning, you know what it means? It means to have been dealt bountifully with, that you gratify them and you strengthen them. You gratify them and you strengthen them and you feed them and you nurture them. And then we can start to make a shift in life where from our strength, we begin to move out of only seeking comfort, but we begin to move into seeking. Remember, I said fall in love with, be attracted to, have a magnetism for, begin to seek discomfort. Because it's only in seeking discomfort that we will ever know comfort again after infancy in the big areas of life. Now, let me tell you what I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about if you've been abused or if you're hurting or if your foot's bleeding or, something like that. You don't go out and jog and seek discomfort on a cut foot with a splinter in it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Because that's not having been dealt bountifully with, is it? That's not coming from a strong position. Not at all. In that instance, you need to be dealt bountifully with. You need some, lidocaine and a few stitches, right? And doctor to make it better and give you a little pain medicine. And then you're going to be dealt bountifully with. And then what are you going to do? Now we're going to go seek the discomfort of where you got to get moving a little bit. Well, that's when the word responsibility comes in. So what we do is it kind of starts off, when you're a kid and in moral development in a child's brain, responsibility seems like a duty. It's something that sits up here that I have to do, and it's a requirement of me. It's sort of like something that, you do your duty, do what you ought to do. It's not really internalized as a something we feel congruent with and want to do. It's an external demand upon us that we answer. Now you step up, boy. That's what my daddy used to say to me. Step up, boy. Now I would have to do that. Okay. Well, you step up and you answer to it, then something starts to happen. You start to identify with whatever you stepped up to. And it turns into, remember the word responsibility? It turns into ability to respond. Instead of something I have to do or should do, it turns into a strength. And it turns into the good sense that you're going to fall in love with, the word responsibility. It turns into the ability to respond, which existentially in our lives is an ownership of our lives. See, if I take responsibility for my life and where I find myself, then I have the ability to respond to where I find myself. And if I have the ability to respond to where I find myself, then the world opens up to me in terms of choices. And then I begin to have lots of choices. But see, people that don't take responsibility for their lives, now, I'm not talking about fault. I said the other day on the program, if I walk out of here and a drunk driver swerves on the sidewalk and hits me, that's not my fault. It's not my fault. And the courts will tell you that. And I can blame him. And I can sue him. And I can make him pay. But you know what I can't make him do? I can't make him make my leg better. I can't make him go through the surgery for me. I can't make him make me I can't make him do the rehab. I can't make him go to the gym and strengthen those muscles that got torn up when he hit me. I can't do any of that. Can't make him do any of that. Only I can do that. And that's what responsibility and ownership looks like. And so there's another word, we talk about the word boundaries, and boundaries basically are, what would be the right word for this? They're sort of the undergirding and the architectural structure of responsibility. Because what a boundary does is it defines my property line of the ownership of my life. And so if I have good boundaries, then I own what is mine and I take responsibility for it. And so if I've got something wrong, if I got a pain, even if I've been abused or I've been, abandoned, or, if I get sick, or, whatever it is that life brings us, and boy, does it bring bad stuff and worse stuff to some people, awful stuff. Oh my gosh, horrible stuff. It's not their fault. It's not your fault. It's not our fault. Somebody's mean to you, you get abused. But to the degree that we own our lives is a degree to which we say, you can be like you're going to be, but I'm going to take responsibility for getting better. And I'm going to take responsibility for getting stronger. And once I do that, I've got boundaries and I'm separate from this mean person or this narcissistic person or this controlling person, and they don't own my life anymore. And this is the key, and I'll stop with this. If they don't own my life, then they don't own my reactions. You can't make me mad, right? You can't make me reactive and defensive and lose it. And I don't have any options and I'm stuck. You can't do that to me because a lot of words come in a bundle: responsibility, control, boundaries, and freedom. And when you recognize that you are in control and you own your life and you can take responsibility for your reactions, when somebody else is controlling, you have an ability to respond. You don't have to react. You don't have to give in. You don't have to just try to people please them. You don't have to get mad. You don't have to get blamey. You can just sit back. You got a lot of other options. You can say to them, well, that's a really interesting suggestion that you make for my life. I'll have to think about it. Oh, just thought about it. No, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I've never been to a drive-in movie in the daylight. I think I'm gonna drive down to the drive-in movie in the daylight. Never done that. Okay, have a nice day. See, you only have 86,000 options available to you when a controlling person's trying to get you to do something. Try that one. Tell them you can go to a drive-in movie in the daylight. My point is, when we don't take responsibility and ownership of our lives, other people have control of us. The economy has control of us. The rainstorm has control of us. Other people's moods have control of us. And I'm not saying that those things aren't awful, but what I'm saying is what people that find their way through hard times do is they respond as best they can to their ability to find options and choices of what they can do best in that particular environment. And that's how we get stronger and that's how we thrive. Oh gosh, one of the things that moves me, I can't imagine this one, but my hat goes off to them. When you see people and you'll see them and they're, and so many of them have been victors, strong, you know, who've fought cancer. Wasn't their fault that they got it. But you see some people in the fight and they're in the fight and they respond and they do everything and they beat it. Not everybody. Sometimes the cancer's too much, too big, it's the wrong kind. But that's what I'm talking about, that life brings us stuff. So we got to find the options to step up and figure out, I'm in control of my responses. I'm going to call, I'm going to find another doctor. I'm going to find some support. I'm going to do everything possible. That's how we beat it. That's how we beat it. Now, remember what I started with? What does responsibility follow? It follows having been dealt bountifully with. So we can't do this out of a vacuum. We need support and we need people on our team and we need help. And you put your team together and then you go fight and respond, whatever is coming your way.